She was just a maid finishing her late-night shift when the elevator doors crashed open. A dying mafia boss lay unconscious, poisoned, and only she could save him with a kiss. What she didn't know, that one desperate act would bind her to him forever, pulling her and her son into a dangerous world where protection comes with a price, and the only way out is through. Ana Martinez had exactly 12 minutes left on her shift when the elevator exploded open. She'd been wiping down the marble countertop in the penthouse's kitchen, her third double shift that week, when the doors crashed against their frames with a violence that made her jump. Her cleaning cart rattled. The half-empty bottle of glass cleaner tipped over, blue liquid pooling across the pristine white surface. 3 men in expensive suits stumbled out, dragging a fourth between them. "Lock it down," one of them barked into his phone. "Nobody in or out." "I don't care, shut it all down." Anna's hand went to the pepper spray in her apron pocket. The building manager had warned her about working late alone, but overtime meant groceries. Overtime meant Mateo's field trip permission slip she couldn't say no to. The man they were dragging wasn't moving. "Excuse me," she said, her voice smaller than she wanted. "I'm just finishing up. I'll get out of your..." "You, the tallest one, salt and pepper hair, scar across his left eyebrow," pointed at her. "Get over here. Now." Anna's stomach dropped. She'd seen these men before, coming and going from the penthouse. Always in dark suits. Always speaking in low voices. The building staff had whispered about who really owned the top 3 floors, but Anna had learned long ago that knowing less meant living longer. "I don't want any trouble," she said, backing toward the service exit. "Lady, we're way past trouble." The man with the scar was sweating despite the air conditioning. "You know CPR?" What?" They dropped the unconscious man onto the leather sofa with surprising gentleness. In the penthouse's recessed lighting, Anna could finally see his face. 30-something, dark hair, sharp jawline. His white shirt was soaked through with sweat, and his skin had taken on a grayish tint that made her nursing volunteer training kick in automatically. Is he having a heart attack? Anna moved forward before her brain could stop her legs. Poison, a younger man, couldn't be older than 25, was rifling through a metal briefcase. Contact toxin. He shook hands with someone at the restaurant. "We've got maybe 4 minutes before his respiratory system shuts down." Anna's mouth went dry. "Call 911. "Can't." Scarman grabbed her arm. "Not rough, but urgent. You don't understand who he is. Hospital means cops. Cops means he's dead before morning. Antidote or not." "Then what?" "The antidote needs a catalyst." The young one pulled out a small vial filled with clear liquid and a syringe. "The chemist said it has to be activated by saliva transfer from someone with no mafia blood. Clean DNA. It's some kind of bonding agent that." He shook his head. "I don't know the science. But everyone here is Maid. We're all in the organization." Anna stared at them. "You want me to kiss him?" Scarman's face was stone. "Transfer saliva. Trigger the compound. Or Lorenzo Valentino dies on this couch in 3 minutes, and you're the last person who saw him alive." The name hit her like cold water. Lorenzo Valentino. She'd heard it before, whispered in the break room. The youngest capo in the New York families. The man who'd supposedly united 3 warring factions through sheer force of will and carefully placed violence. "I have a son," Anna whispered. "Then you know what it means to save a life." The young one was already injecting the antidote into Lorenzo's arm.
"Please. He's not a bad man."
"Not like they say." Anna looked at the unconscious man on the couch. His chest was barely rising. Whatever she thought about his life, his choices, right now he was just someone dying in front of her. She'd taken an oath once, in her community first aid certification class.
"Donoir.
Help where you can." "Move," she said. They stepped back. Anna knelt beside the couch, her cleaning uniform crinkling. Lorenzo's lips were cold when she pressed her mouth to his, forcing herself to ignore the 3 armed men watching her, ignore the fact that she was kissing a mafia boss, ignore everything except the basic mechanics of what she was doing. She felt his breath, shallow, stuttering. She pulled back, wiping her mouth. For 5 endless seconds, Nothing happened. Then Lorenzo gasped, his whole body convulsing. His eyes flew open, dark brown, almost black, and locked onto hers with an intensity that made her fall backward onto the carpet. Who? His voice was gravel and rust. The maid, boss. Scarman helped Lorenzo sit up. She saved you. The antidote worked. Lorenzo's gaze never left Anna's face. She watched his color return, watched the intelligence flood back into his eyes, watched him assess her with the same efficiency he probably used to evaluate threats. "Your name," he said. Not a question. Anna Martinez. She stood on shaking legs. "And I'm leaving now." "No." Lorenzo rose from the couch with surprising steadiness. He buttoned his collar, smoothed his hair, and when he looked at her again, something had changed in his expression. Something almost like wonder. "No, you're not." He turned to his men, and when he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "Bring the family seal and the witness registry. Wake up Judge Carbone if you have to." He looked back at Anna, and she saw her entire life changing in his eyes. This woman just invoked the blood oath. As of this moment, she is under my protection. She is my shield.
What?
Anna's voice cracked. "I don't know what that." "It means," Lorenzo said softly, "everything just changed." Anna's cleaning cart sat forgotten in the corner, a monument to the normal life that had ended exactly 90 seconds ago. "I didn't invoke anything," she said, her voice rising. "I gave you CPR. That's it. I'm going home." Lorenzo buttoned his cuffs with steady hands, the gray pallor completely gone from his face. He looked like a man who'd just woken from a good night's sleep rather than someone who'd been dying on a couch. "Frankie, explain it to her," he said. "Use small words." The young one, Frankie, stepped forward, his expression apologetic. "Ma'am, in the old families, there's a tradition that goes back to Sicily. If someone outside the organization saves a capo's life, they become his shield. It's a bond, a protection. You can't refuse it because it's not about choice, it's about honor." "I don't care about honor." Anna grabbed her purse from the counter. "I care about getting home to my 7-year-old son who's with a babysitter I can barely afford." "Matteo," Lorenzo said quietly.
Anna froze.
"What did you say?" "Your son, Matteo Martinez, 7 years old, attends Jefferson Elementary. Babysitter is Mrs. Chun from 4B. Lorenzo's dark eyes held hers. "You think I don't know who works in my building? Every maid, every doorman, every maintenance worker, I know their names, their families, their problems." The room tilted. Anna gripped the counter for support. "You've been watching me? I've been employing you." Lorenzo moved closer, his presence filling the space between them. "Safely. You've worked here 18 months, without incident, because I make sure my people are protected. But now everything's different." Scarman, the one Frankie had called Tony, returned carrying an ornate wooden box. He opened it to reveal a gold seal about the size of a silver dollar, embossed with what looked like a shield crossed with an olive branch. Lorenzo took it, weighing it in his palm. 300 years ago, my ancestor was dying in a Naples alley. A baker's daughter gave him water and hid him from assassins. He invoked the shield oath. That girl became the most protected person in Naples. Her family prospered. Her children never knew want. "That's a lovely story," Anna said, her hands shaking. "But this is New York, and I'm not interested in prosperity. I'm interested in leaving. Then you'll die." The words came from Tony, flat and certain. "Probably within 48 hours. Your son shortly after." Anna's blood turned to ice. "Are you threatening me?" "No." Lorenzo shot Tony a warning look. "He's stating facts. The people who poison me, they're watching this building. They have contacts everywhere. By now, they know someone saved me. They'll want to know who, how, and why." Frankie pulled up a tablet, tapping rapidly. "Boss, surveillance shows 2 unmarked sedans circling the block. Different plates than our usual watchers." Lorenzo didn't look surprised. "They're already hunting." "This is insane," Anna's voice cracked. "I cleaned toilets. I mopped floors. I just wanted to finish my shift and go home." "And you kissed a dying mafia boss instead," Lorenzo pressed the seal into her palm. It was warm from his hand. Whether you like it or not, Ana Martinez, you're part of this world now. The moment your lips touched mine, you became a player in a game you don't understand. Then help me understand. Anna looked at the seal, at the three men watching her, at the luxury penthouse that suddenly felt like a cage. What does this actually mean? Lorenzo gestured to Tony and Frankie. Both men moved to stand before Anna. Then, to her shock, they bowed their heads. The shield of the capo is second only to the capo himself, Lorenzo said, his voice taking on a formal tone. Any insult to her is an insult to me. Any harm to her is harm to me. Any threat to her family is a declaration of war against my family. We pledge our protection, Tony said, his scarred face solemn. On our blood and our honor. We witness the oath, Frankie added. The bond is sealed. Stop. Anna's legs felt weak. Please stop. I don't want this. I can't want this. Lorenzo took the seal back from her trembling hand. Too late. The words are spoken. The witness has testified. In every family from here to Chicago, you're now known as my shield. He pulled out his phone, typed something, and showed her the screen. It was a photograph, her face, captured from building security footage, with text beneath it in Italian. Even without understanding the language, Anna could see her name. Could see the word Scudo, shield. This went out 90 seconds ago to every Maid man in the 5 families, Lorenzo said. You're untouchable now. But that also means you're a target for anyone who wants to hurt me. Anna sank into the nearest chair, her mind reeling. I need to call my babysitter. Already done. Frankie held up his phone. Told her you're working a double overnight. Paid her triple rate. You can't just. I can. Lorenzo crouched before her chair, bringing his eyes level with hers. And I will. Because like it or not, Ana Martinez, you saved my life tonight. Now I'm going to spend every day making sure I can save yours. Through the penthouse windows, Anna could see the city lights stretching into the darkness. Somewhere out there, Mateo was sleeping, safe and oblivious.
For now.
The bulletproof SUV smelled like leather and gun oil. Anna sat in the back seat, wedged between Tony and another guard whose name she hadn't caught. Lorenzo rode up front, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Italian. Frankie drove, weaving through empty streets with the kind of precision that suggested he'd done this 1,000 times. I want to go home, Anna said for the 4th time. Nobody answered. She tried the door handle.
Locked.
Child safety locks, she realized with bitter irony. Like she was Mateo's age. Mrs. Martinez, Tony's voice was surprisingly gentle for a man with a scar like that. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. Harder. Anna's laugh came out sharp. You people drugged me into some medieval blood oath, and I'm making a hard. Nobody drugged you, the other guard said. He had a thick Brooklyn accent. You kissed the boss of your own free will. To save his life. Exactly. Lorenzo ended his call and turned to face her. In the passing streetlights, his face looked harder than it had in the penthouse. More real. Which is why you're alive right now to complain about it. What's that supposed to mean? Lorenzo nodded to Frankie, who tapped the dashboard screen. Security footage appeared, grainy, black and white. Anna recognized the building's underground parking garage. This is from 40 minutes ago, Frankie said. While you were still upstairs saving the boss. The footage showed a dark sedan pulling in. 2 men got out, both wearing maintenance uniforms that looked wrong somehow. Too clean. Too new. They moved toward the service elevator with purpose. They never made it up, Tony said. We intercepted them on sublevel 2. Anna's throat tightened. Who are they? Dead men. Lorenzo's voice held no emotion. They were carrying your home address, a photograph of your son, and enough fentanyl to make it look like an overdose. The SUV suddenly felt too small, the air too thin. They were going to kill me?
Anna whispered.
Before they even knew if I'd helped you. Insurance. Lorenzo turned back to face forward. The people who poisoned me knew the only way I'd survive was if an outsider helped. So they sent a cleanup crew to eliminate any potential witnesses. You, the night doorman, the security guard. Anyone who might have seen something useful. Anna's hands clenched in her lap. Mateo, you said they had his picture. Leverage, Tony said quietly. In case you ran before they could reach you. The city blurred past the windows. Anna recognized nothing. They were heading toward the waterfront, away from her neighborhood in Queens. Where are we going? She tried to keep the panic from her voice. Somewhere safe, Lorenzo said. Temporarily.
No. No temporary.
Take me to my son.
Now.
Lorenzo made a gesture, and suddenly the privacy screen rose between the front and back seats. Only Tony remained visible beside her, his expression unreadable. Mrs. Martinez, Lorenzo said through the intercom speaker, his voice crackling slightly. I need you to listen very carefully. The people who try to kill me tonight, they're not street thugs.
They're organized.
Professional. They've infiltrated my operation at a level that should be impossible. That sounds like your problem, not mine. It became your problem the moment you saved me. Lorenzo's voice hardened. They know someone helped. They'll tear through every person in that building until they find out who. Your name, your face, your address. By morning, they'll have everything. Anna closed her eyes. You're saying I can't go home. I'm saying your home isn't safe anymore. The SUV turned sharply. Anna grabbed the door handle to steady herself. My son is 7 years old, she said, fighting to keep her voice level. He has school tomorrow. He has a routine. He needs his mother. He needs his mother alive. Tony shifted beside her. Boss, we're 3 minutes out. Lorenzo's voice came back through the speaker. Anna, may I call you Anna?
No.
Anna, I know you're scared. I know this isn't what you signed up for when you went to work tonight. But I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to believe it. He paused. I already know where you live. Her blood ran cold. 412 Maple Street, Queens. Apartment 3C. Yellow building, broken mailbox in the lobby. Mrs. Chen lives in 4B. Your rent is $1,800 a month. You're 3 weeks behind. You work 4 jobs to keep up. Mateo's father isn't in the picture. You have no family in the city except an aunt in Mount Sinai Hospital with stage 3 kidney disease. Anna felt like she was falling. How do you? Because I make it my business to know. Lorenzo's voice softened slightly. And if I know, they know. Or they will soon. The question isn't whether you're in danger. The question is whether you trust me to keep you and Mateo alive. The SUV stopped. Through the window, Anna could see a warehouse. No, a renovated building near the water. Expensive. Private. I don't trust you, Anna said. Smart woman. Lorenzo opened his door. But trust and survival are different things. You're about to learn that the hard way. The door beside Anna opened. Tony offered his hand. She didn't take it, but she got out anyway. What choice did she have? Anna lasted exactly 45 minutes before she broke. They'd brought her to a waterfront safe house, all exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the East River. Beautiful. Expensive. A cage wrapped in luxury. Lorenzo had tried to explain security protocols, safe phone lines, protection details. Anna had nodded through all of it, her mind on one thing only.
Mateo.
I need to see my son, she said, cutting off whatever Frankie was saying about perimeter surveillance.
Right now.
Not later.
Now.
Lorenzo studied her from across the room. He changed into a fresh shirt, all evidence of the night's near-death experience erased. It's 4 in the morning. I don't care if it's 4 in the morning on Mars. Take me to my son, or I walk out that door. You won't make it 3 blocks. Try me. Something shifted in Lorenzo's expression. Maybe respect. Maybe exhaustion. Tony, prep the car. We'll do a quick extraction, then bring them both back here. Boss, that's not.
Now.
20 minutes later, they pulled up to Anna's building. Dawn was still an hour away, the street empty except for a homeless man sleeping in a doorway and a stray cat investigating a tipped garbage can. Anna's apartment was on the 3rd floor.
No elevator.
The stairwell always smelled like cooking grease and mildew. She'd walked these steps 1,000 times, usually exhausted, always counting the hours until she could collapse into bed. Now the familiar felt foreign. Something's wrong, Tony said, his hand moving to his jacket. What? Anna looked around. Everything seemed normal. Same cracked tile in the lobby, same flickering light on the second-floor landing. Lorenzo pointed to her apartment door. The lock. Anna's stomach dropped. The brass fixture around her doorknob was scratched, fresh gouges in the metal catching the hallway light. The door itself sat slightly crooked in its frame. Mateo! Anna lunged forward. Tony caught her.
Wait.
Let me clear it first. That's my son in there. Which is why you need to let me do my job. Tony pulled a gun from his jacket. Black, compact, terrifying in its casual appearance. He moved to the door, tested the knob. It turned. Unlocked. Anna's heart hammered against her ribs. Tony entered first, sweeping left then right. Frankie followed, covering different angles. Lorenzo kept Anna back with one hand, his body positioned between her and the doorway. Clear, Tony called out. Anna broke free and ran inside. The apartment was tiny, kitchen, living room, and bedroom all visible from the entrance. Mrs. Chin sat on the threadbare couch, wide awake, her phone in her hand. Mateo slept curled up beside her, his Spider-Man pajamas riding up his small back. Mrs. Chin. Anna rushed over. What happened? Why is the door? I was going to call you, Mrs. Chen's hand shook. About an hour ago, I heard something at the door. Like scratching. I looked through the peephole, saw a man doing something to the lock. Tony was already examining the door frame. Attempted entry. Professional work. They were trying to bypass the deadbolt without noise. I yelled that I was calling 911, Mrs. Chin continued. Whoever it was ran. I heard footsteps going down the stairs. But Anna, I didn't call the police. I thought with your work situation, all those late nights, I didn't want to cause problems. Anna's mind raced. Mrs. Chun thought she was hiding something, maybe an abusive ex, maybe immigration issues. The older woman had been trying to protect her in her own way. You did the right thing, Lorenzo said, his voice surprisingly gentle. He pulled out a roll of cash, peeled off several $100 bills. Thank you for protecting the boy. Go home. Forget you saw us. Mrs. Chen's eyes widened at the money. She looked at Anna, questions written across her face. It's okay, Anna managed. Thank you. Just, please don't mention this to anyone. After Mrs. Chen left, Anna sank onto the couch beside her sleeping son. She brushed the hair from his forehead, felt the warmth of his skin, counted his breaths like she used to when he was a baby. They were going to take him, she whispered. No, Lorenzo crouched beside her. They were checking if anyone was home. Reconnaissance. They wanted to know your patterns, your schedule. That's supposed to make me feel better? It's supposed to make you realistic, Lorenzo gestured to Tony.
Call it in.
Get forensics here. Pull the building's security footage, and I want to know which crew is running enforcement in this sector. Boss, the cops are going to respond eventually. Neighbor probably already called it in. As if on cue, sirens wailed in the distance. Lorenzo stood. Then we need to move fast. Anna, pack a bag for you and the boy. Essentials only. You have 3 minutes. The police can help, Anna said desperately. I can file a report, get a restraining order. Against who? Lorenzo's voice cut through her denial. You don't know who tried to break in. The police will take a statement, find no evidence of forced entry, and leave. Meanwhile, whoever's hunting you will try again. And next time, they won't just scratch the lock. Mateo stirred, his eyes fluttering open.
Nana.
Anna pulled him close, breathing in his little boy's smell of shampoo and sleep. Hey, baby. We're going on an adventure. Right now. Right now. She looked up at Lorenzo, saw the truth in his eyes. Her old life, the cramped apartment, the exhausting jobs, the careful anonymity, was over. 3 minutes, she said. Then we go. The coastal safe house looked like something from a magazine spread. 3 stories of weathered cedar and glass perched on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic. Private beach below, forest behind, the nearest neighbor half a mile away. Mateo pressed his face against the SUV window, eyes wide. Mama, Is this a hotel? Something like that, baby. Anna's voice sounded hollow even to her own ears. They'd driven for 2 hours, Mateo dozing against her shoulder while dawn broke over the highway. He'd asked surprisingly few questions. Maybe he sensed her fear. Or maybe at 7 years old, an unexpected adventure still felt more exciting than scary. Inside, the safe house was all open concept and expensive furniture. A chef's kitchen Anna would never use. A living room with a fireplace that probably cost more than her yearly rent. Through the massive windows, the ocean stretched gray and endless. Mateo can take the blue room upstairs, Frankie said, appearing with their hastily packed bags. It's got bunk beds and a PlayStation. PlayStation. Mateo perked up. We'll see, Anna said automatically. Then, to Frankie, where will I be? Yellow room, right next to his. Connected bathroom. Frankie's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, frowned. Boss wants everyone downstairs in 10. After getting Mateo settled, distracted by video games and the promise of pancakes, Anna descended the floating staircase to find the living room transformed into something resembling a war room. Lorenzo stood at the head of a long table, surrounded by men in suits. Tony was there, along with Frankie and 4 others she didn't recognize. Maps covered the table. Laptops glowed. Everyone looked grim. Gentlemen, Lorenzo said, his voice carrying easy authority. This is Anna Martinez. She's under my protection. You will treat her accordingly. The men nodded, but Anna caught the looks they exchanged. Skepticism. Suspicion. Something worse. Now that she's here, said a heavy-set man with slick-back hair, maybe someone can explain what the hell we're doing protecting a maid. Careful, Polly. Lorenzo's voice dropped to something dangerous. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. Polly spread his hands. A civilian sees you get poisoned, fine. We pay her off, relocate her, problem solved. But the blood oath? For a nobody? She saved my life. So? People save lives every day. They don't get made into family. Anna's face burned. She started to back toward the stairs, but Lorenzo's voice stopped her.
Anna.
Stay. It wasn't a request. She stayed, arms crossed, feeling like an intruder in her own protection. The oath is tradition, Tony said, trying to defuse the tension. Boss invoked it, it's done. Tradition. A younger man, sharp suit, sharper eyes, leaned forward. Or strategy. Maybe she's more than she seems. Meaning what, Carmine? Lorenzo's jaw tightened. Meaning it's convenient. You get poisoned, and suddenly the only person who can save you is a civilian? Someone clean, someone untraceable. Carmine pulled out his phone, slid it across the table. Someone who's been working in your building for 18 months with access to everything? Anna's stomach turned. On the phone screen was a dossier. Her face, her background, Mateo's school records, her employment history. You think I'm a spy? She said, her voice shaking. I clean toilets. I scrub floors. I can barely afford my rent. Best cover there is Carmine didn't look at her. The Russos have been trying to infiltrate for years. What better way than a single mom? Sympathetic. Invisible. Patient. That's insane. Is it? Polly jumped in. You show up right when the boss needs saving. You know CPR. You don't hesitate. Most people would have run. I'm a volunteer first responder. Anna's hands clenched. I took a class at the community center because I have a child and wanted to know what to do in emergencies. Or because you knew you'd need the skills. Carmine stood. Boss, with all respect, she could be a honeypot. The Russos send her in. She saves your life. You're grateful. Hell, you invoke the blood oath, and suddenly she's got access to everything. Your homes, your meetings, your strategies. The room erupted. Men talking over each other, some defending her, others agreeing with Carmine. Anna stood frozen, watching her nightmare take new shape. Lorenzo slammed his hand on the table. Silence. Enough. He looked at each man in turn. I know what you're thinking because I thought it too. For about 30 seconds. Then I did what I always do. I investigated. He pulled up a screen showing what looked like financial records.
Ana Martinez.
3 months behind on rent. $247 in her checking account. Credit score of 580. Working 4 jobs to stay afloat. Her son's father disappeared before he was born. Her aunt is dying in a hospital she can barely afford to visit. Could all be manufactured, Carmine muttered. Could be. Lorenzo's voice turned to steel. Except I also pulled the security footage from every day she's worked in my building. You know what I found? A woman who keeps her head down, does her job and leaves. She's never been in any room she wasn't supposed to clean. Never touched anything she wasn't supposed to touch. Never asked questions. Never showed interest in anything except her paycheck. He turned to Ana, and she saw something unexpected in his eyes. Fury. But not at her. For her. Ana Martinez isn't a spy, Lorenzo said quietly. She's a casualty. A civilian who made the mistake of being in the wrong place at the wrong time and having a conscience. Ana felt tears prick her eyes. Upstairs, she could hear Matteo laughing at some video game. She'd never felt more alone. 3 days passed in the safe house like a fever dream. Matteo adapted with the resilience of children. The beach, the video games, the pancakes for breakfast made it feel like vacation. Ana couldn't eat. She paced the yellow room at night, watching the ocean, wondering if she'd ever feel safe again. On the 4th morning, Lorenzo appeared at breakfast with a tablet. Matteo needs to go back to school, he said without preamble. Ana looked up from her untouched coffee. Absolutely not. Mama, I'm missing math, Matteo said through a mouthful of cereal. Mrs. Patterson is teaching fractions. You can learn fractions here. I'll teach you. Lorenzo slid the tablet across the counter. On screen was an email from Jefferson Elementary, asking about Matteo's extended absence. Below it, several texts from other parents wondering if everything was okay. He's been gone 4 days, Lorenzo said. People are starting to notice. Starting to ask questions. The more abnormal his life looks, the more attention you draw. He's 7 years old, Ana said through clenched teeth. Someone tried to break into our apartment. Which is why he'll have protection. Lorenzo pulled up another screen showing 2 photographs. Marcus and D'Angelo. Former Secret Service. They'll pose as school security contractors doing a building safety assessment. They'll shadow Matteo without being obvious about it. Matteo's eyes went wide. I get bodyguards? Like the president. No, Ana said. Absolutely not. I won't let my son. It's not negotiable, Lorenzo's voice softened slightly. Ana, I understand your instinct is to hide him away. But isolation makes him more vulnerable, not less. Normal routine, normal patterns, that's how we keep him safe. You mean that's how you keep up appearances? I mean that's how I keep him alive. The words hung in the air. Matteo looked between them, his spoon frozen halfway to his mouth. Ana felt the fight drain out of her. He stays where I can see him. Fair enough, Lorenzo nodded to Frankie, who'd been standing quietly by the door. Set up the classroom cameras. Feed them to Anna's phone. You can hack into the school's security. I can do a lot of things. 2 hours later, Ana watched through her phone as Matteo walked into Jefferson Elementary between Marcus and D'Angelo. They looked professional in khaki pants and polo shirts with fake contractor badges. Matteo waved at friends, dumped his backpack in his cubby, and disappeared into Mrs. Patterson's classroom. Everything looked normal. Ana didn't breathe easier until lunch. She was watching Matteo eat pizza in the cafeteria, laughing with his friend Tyler, completely oblivious, when the camera angle shifted. Marcus had moved position, his attention caught by something outside. Through the cafeteria windows, Ana could see the playground. And in the parking lot beyond, a black sedan. Idling. Tinted windows.
Wrong.
Her heart stopped. Marcus spoke into his wrist, some kind of concealed microphone. D'Angelo appeared on camera, moving casually toward the exit. On Anna's phone, a new screen popped up. Vehicle information. Stolen plates. Registered to a shell company. The sedan didn't move. Ana ran downstairs. Lorenzo. He was in the living room on a call. He saw her face and immediately hung up. What happened? She showed him the phone. Lorenzo's expression went cold. Get tactical on sight. Now he was already moving, grabbing keys. Frankie, prep the car. Tony with me. I'm coming, Anna said. You're staying here where it's... That's my son. Anna's voice shook but held firm. I'm coming or I'm driving myself. Lorenzo studied her for a beat.
Fine.
But you do exactly what I say. They reached the school in 20 minutes. By then, the sedan was gone. D'Angelo had approached it, and the vehicle had pulled away before he got close. But the message was clear. We know where he is. We can reach him. Anna burst through the school doors to find Matteo sitting in the principal's office, coloring. Marcus stood nearby, looking apologetic.
Nah.
Matteo jumped up. Mr. Marcus said we had to do a special safety drill. It was cool. We got to sit in the principal's office. Anna pulled him close, breathing him in. Over his head, she saw Principal Morrison, a worried woman in her 50s, watching with confusion. Mrs. Martinez, is everything all right? The contractors said there was a security concern. Gas leak, Lorenzo said smoothly, appearing behind Anna. He extended a hand. Lorenzo Castellano, building safety consultant. We detected elevated levels near the playground. As a precaution, we're recommending the children stay inside for the rest of the day. Morrison shook his hand, clearly charmed. Of course. Should we notify the parents? Already handled. The leak's been contained. Just standard protocol, Lorenzo smiled, all easy confidence. Morrison bought it completely. But as they walked Matteo to the car, Anna holding his hand tight enough to make him squirm, she saw the other security measures Lorenzo had deployed. Men positioned on rooftops. Unmarked cars at every exit. A perimeter that turned an elementary school into a fortress. This was her life now. In the car, Matteo chattered about his day, oblivious. Anna stared out the window, numb. Lorenzo's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and Anna saw his jaw tighten. What? She asked. He showed her the screen. A text from an unknown number. Just 2 words. Nice kid. Anna's blood turned to ice. They were sending a message, Lorenzo said quietly. They wanted us to see them. Wanted us to know they can reach him whenever they want. Then what do we do? Lorenzo's eyes went dark. We send a message back. The rumors started small. A whisper in a Brooklyn social club. A joke in a Queen's card game. A question posed over drinks in Little Italy. But whispers in the underworld spread like wildfire, and by the end of the week, everyone knew. The maid kissed the boss. Anna first learned about it when her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Unknown numbers. Dozens of them. She'd stopped answering after the 3rd call, a man with a thick accent asking if she was Lorenzo's new woman and offering protection services. The voicemails were worse. Some threatening. Some propositions. One was just breathing. Turn it off, Lorenzo said when he found her staring at the phone in the safe house kitchen. Matteo was outside with Marcus, building sandcastles on the private beach. These people know my number. Anna's voice was hollow. How do they know my number? Lorenzo took the phone, powered it down. Because information is currency. Someone leaked your identity, probably sold it to a dozen interested parties. Now everyone wants to know who you are and what you mean to me. I don't mean anything to you. I saved your life. That's it. That's not what they think. He pulled out his own phone, showed her a screenshot. It was from some kind of encrypted messaging app, all in Italian. She couldn't read most of it, but she recognized her name. And one word repeated multiple times, Amante.
Loa.
Anna's stomach turned. You need to correct this. Tell them I'm not, that we're not. I can't. Why not? Because the blood oath is ambiguous by design. Lorenzo poured himself coffee like they were discussing the weather. It protects you by making you important to me. The more important you seem, the more protected you are. If I tell everyone you're just a civilian who happened to save me, you become expendable. So, instead you let them think I'm sleeping with you? I let them think whatever keeps you alive. He met her eyes. Is your pride worth more than your son's safety? Anna wanted to scream. Instead, she walked to the window, pressed her forehead against the cool glass. Outside, Matteo laughed as a wave knocked down his sandcastle. Her phone, still in Lorenzo's hand, buzzed. Then again. And again. "What now?" she asked without turning. Lorenzo's silence made her look. His face had gone carefully blank, which she'd learned meant something bad. "What?" she demanded. He turned the phone toward her. Text messages, flooding in despite the phone being off, some kind of backup service. But these weren't from unknown numbers. These were from people she knew. Her supervisor at the cleaning company. "Don't bother coming back. We can't afford your kind of trouble." Her neighbor from Maple Street. "Please don't return to the building. You're putting everyone at risk." A parent from Matteo's school. "We're requesting Matteo be transferred to a different classroom. Our children's safety comes first." Anna read them all, feeling her world collapse inward. "They're scared of me. They're scared of what you represent." Lorenzo set the phone down. "You've been marked. Associated with my world. To civilians, that makes you dangerous." "I am dangerous." The realization hit her like a physical blow. "Everyone around me is in danger just by knowing me." Yes. His honesty was almost worse than a lie. The doorbell rang, a strange sound in a safe house. Tony appeared, escorting a nervous-looking man in a cheap suit. Anna recognized him. Mr. Brennan, the building manager from her old job. "Mr. Brennan?" Anna stepped forward. "What are you?" "I'm sorry, Anna." He wouldn't meet her eyes. "I came to give you this in person. Felt like I owed you that much." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a termination letter and a check for 2 weeks' pay. "You're firing me," the building owners insist. After the incident, with the police visit and the security concerns, Brennan fidgeted with his briefcase. "There are rumors about who you're involved with. The other tenants are uncomfortable. Some have threatened to break their leases." "I cleaned their toilets for 18 months, Anna said quietly. "I never missed a shift." "I know.
And I'm sorry."
"But I have a family too." Brennan glanced nervously at Lorenzo, then practically ran for the door. Anna stood there, holding the letter, feeling numb.
"There's more," Lorenzo said.
His phone showed a news website. A small article, buried in the Metro section. Suspicious activity at Queen's apartment building raises organized crime concerns. Her building. Her address. Not named directly, but anyone who knew her would recognize it. "My aunt," Anna whispered. "She's still in the hospital. She doesn't know about any of this." "She does now." Tony appeared with another tablet. Hospital administrators flagged her room for security concerns. "They're asking her to find alternative care arrangements. They're kicking her out. They're protecting their other patients." Lorenzo's voice was even. "From you." Anna sank into a chair. "How is this my life? 5 days ago I was nobody. Invisible. Now I'm what? A pariah? A threat." "You're mine," Lorenzo said simply. "And in my world, that makes you powerful. But power always costs something." Through the window, Matteo waved at her, his smile bright and innocent. "What did it cost you?" Anna asked. Lorenzo followed her gaze to the boy on the beach. "Everything that mattered." Anna made her decision on the 6th day. "I'm going to see my aunt," she announced at breakfast. Lorenzo looked up from his espresso.
"No."
That wasn't a question. "And this isn't a negotiation." He set down his cup with deliberate care. "Your aunt is stable. The hospital is secure. There's no reason for you to risk." "She's dying." Anna's voice cracked. "Stage 3 kidney disease, remember? You read all about it in your file." "Well, here's something your file doesn't say." She raised me. "When my mother left, when I had nowhere to go, Aunt Carmen took me in. She's the only family I have." "Mama, you're crying." Matteo looked up from his waffles, worried. Anna wiped her eyes quickly. "I'm fine, baby. Eat your breakfast." Lorenzo studied her, calculating. "You take Tony and Frankie. You stay for 30 minutes maximum. You don't deviate from the route."
"No."
"Excuse me?"
"No guards. No escorts."
"No Mafia protection." Anna stood, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "For 6 days, you've controlled every aspect of my life. Where I sleep, what I eat, when my son goes to school. I can't even use my own phone. I need 1 hour, one single hour, where I'm just Anna visiting her sick aunt. Not the shield. Not the woman who kissed the Mafia boss. Just me. That's not possible anymore. Then make it possible, she met his eyes. You owe me that much. Lorenzo's jaw tightened. For a moment, she thought he'd refuse. Then he pulled out his phone, typed something, and slid it across the table. Mount Sinai. Room 437. I've arranged for hospital security to be heightened on that floor. You won't see my men, but they'll be there. 1 hour. If you're not back in the car after 60 minutes, I'm coming in personally.
Fine.
And Anna? His voice stopped her at the door. The world doesn't stop being dangerous just because you want it to. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and despair. Anna walked through the main entrance alone, feeling exposed without Tony's looming presence or Frankie's watchful eyes. The freedom felt strange, like wearing someone else's shoes. Room 437 was in the oncology wing. Aunt Carmen sat propped up in bed, thinner than Anna remembered, her brown skin gone ashen. But her eyes lit up when Anna entered. Mija, Carmen's voice was paper-thin. They told me you couldn't visit. Security concerns, they said. I thought. I'm here now. Anna pulled a chair close, took her aunt's hand. The bones felt fragile as bird wings. The nurses are talking, Carmen said, about a woman involved with dangerous men. They don't say your name, but I know it's you. What happened, Anna? Anna told her. All of it. The penthouse, the poison, the kiss, the oath. Carmen listened without interrupting, her expression cycling through shock, fear, and finally, something that looked like resignation. Your mother always said you had too much heart, Carmen whispered when Anna finished. That it would get you killed someday. She wasn't entirely wrong. But you saved him. That man. You didn't have to, but you did. Carmen squeezed her hand weakly. That's who you are. That's who I raised. They talked for 40 minutes, about Mateo, about Carmen's treatment, about everything and nothing. Normal conversation. Precious and mundane. Anna felt some of the tension bleed from her shoulders. She was checking her watch. 53 minutes, 7 left, when Carmen's expression changed.
Anna.
That man at the door. Anna turned. Through the room's window, she could see a figure in hospital scrubs standing in the hallway. Nothing unusual, except he wasn't moving. Just standing there. Watching. Then he looked directly at her and smiled. Anna's blood froze. She recognized that smile, cold, calculated.
Wrong.
The man started toward the door. Anna stood, moving in front of her aunt's bed. Press your call button. What?
Now.
Carmen fumbled for the remote. The door swung open. The man was younger up close, maybe 30, with neat hair and a hospital ID badge that looked too new. He held a syringe. Anna Martinez, he said pleasantly. We need to talk. Get out. Anna's voice shook but held. This is a hospital. There are cameras everywhere. Cameras can be looped. Guards can be distracted. He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Don't worry. I'm not here to hurt you. Just to deliver a message. From who? People who are very interested in your relationship with Lorenzo Valentino. He moved closer. Anna backed against the bed. They want to know what you've told him. What you've seen. What you're worth. I'm not worth anything.
I'm nobody.
Then this shouldn't hurt too much. He raised the syringe. The door exploded inward. Tony came through first, gun drawn, moving with lethal efficiency. The man in scrubs spun, swinging the syringe like a weapon. Tony caught his wrist, twisted. Something snapped. The man screamed. Frankie appeared behind Tony, already on his phone. Room 437. We have an intruder. Lock down the floor. The man in scrubs looked at Anna, even as Tony forced him to his knees. They'll keep coming. Every time you think you're safe. Every time you think you're free. Shut up, Tony growled. But the damage was done. Anna stood there, shaking, understanding the truth. There was no freedom. No hour of normal.
No escape.
Aunt Carmen stared at the scene, her call button forgotten in her hand.
I'm sorry, Anna whispered.
I'm so sorry. Lorenzo appeared in the doorway, his face dark with fury. I told you. Anna couldn't argue. He had. They didn't speak on the drive back. Lorenzo sat rigid in the front seat, his silence more damning than any lecture. Anna stared out the window, watching the city blur past, still feeling the cold weight of that syringe pointed at her. When they reached the safe house, Lorenzo headed straight for his office, a converted study on the second floor. Anna followed, past Tony's warning look, past Frankie's subtle head shake. She found Lorenzo pouring whiskey into a crystal glass. It was barely noon. Say it, Anna said from the doorway. Say what? That I was stupid, reckless. That I could have been killed, or worse. Led them back to Matteo, her voice rose. Say it, so we can move on. Lorenzo downed the whiskey in one swallow. You want me to state the obvious?
Fine.
You were all of those things. You almost got yourself killed because you needed to feel normal for an hour. Is that what you want to hear? What I want is my life back. Anna's control shattered. I want to visit my dying aunt without armed guards. I want my son to go to school without bodyguards. I want to sleep in my own bed, work my own jobs, be invisible again. You were never invisible. Lorenzo set down the glass with deliberate care. That's what you don't understand. You think you were safe because nobody noticed you? You were safe because nobody cared. And now they care very much. He moved to the window overlooking the ocean. Do you know why they really tried to kill you today? Not to extract information. Not to hurt me.
They wanted to test something.
Test what? Whether I'd come for you. Lorenzo turned to face her. Whether the blood oath was real or just political theater. If I'd let you die in that hospital, it would prove I don't actually value you. That you're expendable. Every rival family would know I invoked tradition without meaning it, and I'd lose face. Lose respect. Lose power. Anna's throat tightened. So I'm just leverage? A symbol? You're a person who made a choice. Lorenzo's voice softened slightly. But yes, in my world, everything is leverage. Even compassion. I hate your world. Good. That means you still have sense. He poured another whiskey, offered it to her. She shook her head. Anna, I need to tell you something. About the poison. About why this is happening. I already know. Someone tried to kill you. Power struggle. Mafia politics. It's more specific than that. Lorenzo leaned against his desk. The poison, tetrodotoxin mixed with a synthetic paralytic, there are maybe 5 chemists in the world who could formulate it correctly. And the delivery method, the antidote trigger requiring outside DNA, that level of sophistication isn't random. Anna waited, sensing he was building to something. Someone inside my organization planned this, Lorenzo said. Someone who knew the old customs. Who understood that forcing an outsider to save me would bind that person to me, creating exactly this situation. A civilian shield who becomes a target, a vulnerability, a distraction. The words settled like stones in Anna's stomach. You're saying someone wanted me to save you? I'm saying someone wanted to create chaos. The kind of chaos that happens when a mafia boss becomes responsible for protecting a single mother and her child. When resources get diverted. When attention gets divided. Lorenzo's eyes went dark. When the boss looks weak.
Who?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. The traitor has to be someone with access to my schedule, my security protocols, my inner circle. Someone I trust. He laughed bitterly. Or used to trust. Anna thought about the men at the table days ago. Polly, who called her a nobody. Carmine, who accused her of being a spy. Could it be one of them? Your lieutenants. Maybe. Probably. Lorenzo rubbed his face, and for the first time, Anna saw the exhaustion there. I've been playing this game for 10 years. Building alliances, crushing rivals, maintaining balance. But the moment I invoked the blood oath for you, everything shifted. Suddenly, I'm not just a capo. I'm a capo with a weakness. Me. You and Matteo both. He met her eyes. You asked why this is your life now. This is why. Not because you kissed me, but because someone orchestrated a situation where that kiss would matter. Where it would bind us together and make both of us vulnerable. Anna sank into a chair, her mind reeling. So, what do we do? I root out the traitor. Eliminate the immediate threat. Shore up my position. Lorenzo's voice went cold, professional. And you stay alive long enough for me to finish. That's it? That's your plan? What did you expect? A magic solution. He moved closer, crouching so they were eye level. Anna, listen to me. In my world, there are no clean exits. No happy endings where everyone walks away safe. The best we can hope for is survival. The best I can offer you is protection. Protection that almost got me killed today. Protection that saved you today. His voice was firm. Those men were on that floor because I insisted on it. If you'd truly been alone, if I'd let you go without backup, you'd be in a warehouse somewhere right now, and Matteo would be next. Anna closed her eyes, felt tears slide down her cheeks. I just wanted to save a life. I know. Lorenzo stood, moved back to the window. And now I'm trying to save yours, whether you like my methods or not. Outside, through the windows, Anna could see Matteo playing on the beach with Marcus, building another sandcastle, laughing, innocent. How long? She asked quietly. Until it's safe? Yes. Lorenzo's silence was answer enough. It might never be safe again. 2 weeks crawled by. Anna existed in a state of constant vigilance. Every phone call a potential threat, every unfamiliar face a possible enemy. Matteo returned to school, but Anna watched the security feeds obsessively, Marcus and D'Angelo never more than 20 feet from her son. Until the day everything went wrong. It started normally. Matteo's class had art that afternoon. Anna watched through the cameras as he painted something that looked like a dinosaur, his tongue poking out in concentration. She smiled despite herself. Then the feed cut out. Lorenzo. Anna's scream brought him running from across the safe house. What happened? The cameras, they're down. All of them. Anna's hands shook as she tried refreshing the app. Black screens. Every single feed. Lorenzo was already on his phone. Tony, talk to me. What's happening at Jefferson Elementary? Anna couldn't hear the response, but she watched Lorenzo's face go white. Get him out. Now. He grabbed his keys. Anna, with me. Frankie. Full tactical response. What's happening? Anna was already moving, grabbing her jacket. Fire alarm was triggered. The school's evacuating. Lorenzo's voice was tight. It wasn't an accident. They made it to the school in 8 minutes. Anna's heart hammered against her ribs the entire drive. Lorenzo took corners too fast, ran red lights, didn't care. The school was chaos. Children poured out the main exits, teachers trying to maintain order, parents arriving in a panic. Anna scanned the crowds, searching for Matteo's dark hair, his Spider-Man backpack. Where is he? Her voice pitched high. Lorenzo, where is he? Lorenzo's phone rang. He answered, listened, and his expression went deadly calm. North corridor. 2nd floor. They've got him cornered. Who has him cornered? He didn't answer, just ran. Anna followed, pushing through the confused crowds, past the fire trucks that were arriving, through the main entrance. Inside, the hallways were empty, everyone evacuated. The fire alarm shrieked. Emergency lights strobed. They found Marcus first, unconscious in a stairwell, blood trickling from his temple.
No. Anna, breathe. No, no, no.
He's breathing. Lorenzo checked his pulse. Stay with him. I'm not staying anywhere. That's my son. They ran together down the 2nd floor corridor. Classroom doors stood open, abandoned. At the far end, near the staff exit, Anna heard voices. Just come with us, kid. Nobody gets hurt. I want my mama. Matteo's voice, scared but defiant. Anna's vision went red. She sprinted ahead of Lorenzo, turned the corner and saw them. 2 men in contractor uniforms, the real kind, not the fake badges Marcus and D'Angelo wore. One held Matteo's arm. The other held a gun, pointed at D'Angelo, who stood with his hands raised, his own weapon on the floor. Let him go. Anna's voice echoed off the tiles. The man with the gun swung toward her. Mrs. Martinez. Perfect timing. You're both coming with us. Like hell, Anna moved between the gun and Matteo.
Nah.
Matteo tried to pull away, but the man holding him tightened his grip. Easy choice, lady, the gunman smiled. You come quietly, the kid doesn't get hurt. You make a scene? Well, accidents happen during fire evacuations. Lorenzo appeared behind Anna, his own gun drawn. Let the boy go. Valentino, the gunman, didn't look surprised. Figured you'd show. That's fine. We've got enough firepower coming through that exit too. He never finished. D'Angelo, still on the floor, lunged, grabbing his dropped weapon. The gunman fired. D'Angelo fired back. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. Anna didn't think. She grabbed a fire extinguisher from the wall and swung it at the man holding Matteo. It connected with his shoulder. He grunted, releasing Matteo. Run. Anna shoved Matteo toward Lorenzo. But Matteo didn't run to Lorenzo. He ran to her, wrapping his arms around her waist, burying his face in her stomach. The man Anna had hit recovered, reaching for them. Lorenzo shot him in the leg. He went down screaming. The gunman, wounded but still dangerous, raised his weapon toward Anna and Matteo. Time slowed. Anna saw the gun, saw the man's finger on the trigger, saw death coming. Then Lorenzo was there, stepping between them, his body a shield. The shot never came. Tony and Frankie burst through the staff exit, weapons drawn. The gunman dropped his gun, hands up. It was over in seconds. Anna sank to the floor, holding Matteo, shaking so hard her teeth chattered. Matteo was crying. Not hysterical, but the quiet, shocked crying of a child who'd just learned the world was dangerous. You're okay? Anna whispered into his hair. You're okay, baby. Mama's here. Lorenzo crouched beside them, his hand gentle on Matteo's back. You were very brave, Matteo. You did everything right. They said. Matteo's voice hitched. They said they'd hurt Mama if I screamed. Anna's heart shattered. She looked up at Lorenzo, saw fury in his eyes that matched her own. They'll never touch you again, Lorenzo said, and it wasn't a promise. It was an oath. Either of you. Police sirens wailed outside. Parents were demanding to get inside. The fire alarm finally went silent. Anna held her son and looked at the blood on the hallway floor, at the men in custody, at the life she'd never wanted crumbling around her. I can't do this anymore, she whispered. Lorenzo's expression was grim. You won't have to. Not like this. What does that mean? He stood, offering his hand to help her up. It means I'm done playing defense. Tomorrow we go on offense. Against who? Everyone. His smile was cold and sharp. Starting with whoever sent these men. Ending with whoever thought they could touch your son and live. Lorenzo called the council at midnight. Anna watched from the safe house's second-floor landing as they arrived. Old men in expensive suits, retired dons with faces like weathered stone, advisors who'd survived decades in a world that killed most within years. She'd put Matteo to bed an hour ago. He'd clung to her, asking questions she couldn't answer. Why did those men want to take him? When could they go home? Was he safe? She'd lied and said yes. Now she descended the stairs, uninvited, but beyond caring about protocol. The living room had been transformed. The long table was back, covered in files and photographs. Lorenzo stood at the head, looking like he hadn't slept in days. He probably hadn't. Gentlemen, he said as Anna entered. This is Anna Martinez. The Shield. The reason we're here. An older man, silver hair, navy suit, eyes like chips of ice, studied her. You're younger than I expected. You're older than I expected. Anna shot back. Are you going to help or just judge? A few of the men chuckled. The silver-haired one smiled. I like her. She's got spine. Her spine isn't the issue. Lorenzo pulled up a photograph on the large screen behind him. This is. The photo showed one of the men from the school. Dead now, Anna assumed, based on the clinical nature of the image. Vincent Russo, Lorenzo continued. Low-level enforcer for the Russo family. DNA match confirms it. He and his partner were hired 3 days ago through an intermediary. Paid 50,000 cash to grab the boy during the fire alarm. The Russos, an elderly man with thick glasses, shook his head. They've been pushing boundaries for months. Testing your territories. It's not just the Russos, Tony stepped forward, clicking to the next slide. We traced the payment. It went through 4 shell companies before hitting Russo's account. Professional money laundering. The kind you only see when multiple families are cooperating. A coalition, the silver-haired man said. Against you. Against what I represent, Lorenzo's voice was steel. I united the families, brought peace, ended the territorial wars that were costing everyone money and men. Some people preferred the chaos. Because chaos creates opportunity, Anna said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. That's what you're saying, right? Peace is bad for business if your business is conflict. Lorenzo nodded. Exactly. He clicked through more photos, surveillance images, financial records, intercepted communications. Each one painted a picture of conspiracy. Multiple families. Multiple attacks. All coordinated. They poisoned you to create the blood oath situation, Frankie explained, pulling up a timeline. They knew saving you would require an outsider. Knew you'd invoke the tradition. Knew it would make you look weak. Then they attacked Anna to prove she was a liability, Tony continued. Every attack designed to make you look like you couldn't protect your own shield. To erode confidence. To make the other families question your strength. And when that didn't work fast enough, Lorenzo said, his voice dropping to something dangerous, they went after a 7-year-old child. Silence fell over the room. Even these hard men, criminals, killers, men who'd seen and done terrible things, looked uncomfortable. The silver-haired man stood.
I'm Antonio Castellano.
Lorenzo's uncle. I've been retired for 15 years, content to let the young wolves run things. He looked around the table. But there are lines. Sacred lines. Children are not targets. Families are not weapons. The old codes, another elder said, nodding. They've been forgotten. Then we remind them. Antonio's voice carried absolute authority. Lorenzo, you have evidence? Financial trails linking 3 families to the attacks. Recorded conversations. Witness testimony from the men we captured. Lorenzo pulled up a document. And this, a contract. A formal agreement between the Russos, the DeLucas, and the Moretti crew to destabilize my operation by any means necessary. Show me. Antonio took the tablet, read through it, his face darkening. This is signed. Blood sealed. This isn't just business. This is a declaration of war. Then we respond accordingly, Lorenzo said. Antonio looked at the other elders. They nodded one by one. You have our blessing, Antonio said. And our resources. End this. Completely. What followed was 48 hours Anna would never forget. She watched from the safe house as Lorenzo orchestrated his counterstrike with surgical precision. Not random violence, calculated elimination. Every piece of evidence delivered to the right people. Every traitor exposed. Every financial channel collapsed. The Russo family lost 3 warehouses to accidental fires, all insured, all legitimate businesses, all fronts for money laundering. The DeLucas found their offshore accounts frozen, their shell companies dissolved by federal investigations that had miraculously received anonymous tips. The Moretti crew simply disappeared, arrested on outstanding warrants that had somehow all been served simultaneously. And the men who'd signed the contract? Tony brought Lorenzo photographs. Anna didn't look, but she saw Lorenzo's expression. Justice, his eyes said. Not revenge. On the 3rd day, Lorenzo came home covered in someone else's blood. He walked past Anna without speaking, headed straight for the shower. She heard the water run for an hour. When he emerged, dressed in clean clothes, his eyes were different. Older. Harder. It's done, he said simply. All of it. The traitor is dead. The coalition is broken. The families know what happens when sacred rules are violated. He poured whiskey down it. You and Matteo are safe now. Safe. Anna repeated, testing the word. What does that even mean anymore? Lorenzo looked at her across the safe house's expensive living room. This gilded cage they'd shared for weeks. It means you have a choice. Dawn broke over the Atlantic in shades of gold and crimson. Anna stood on the safe house's rooftop terrace, wrapped in a blanket, watching the sun climb from the water. Behind her, she heard Lorenzo's footsteps. She'd learned to recognize his walk, measured and deliberate. Couldn't sleep, he asked. Haven't slept properly in 3 weeks, Anna didn't turn around. I keep seeing that gun pointed at Matteo. Keep hearing him cry. Keep thinking about all the ways I failed him. You didn't fail him. You saved him. I put him in danger in the first place. Lorenzo moved to stand beside her at the railing. He looked different in the early light, less like a mafia boss, more like just a man carrying impossible weight. I meant what I said, he began. You have a choice now. The threats are neutralized. The traitor is gone. The families understand that touching you means war. So, I'm free to go. Free is a complicated word. Lorenzo pulled out an envelope, set it on the terrace table. Option 1. New identities for you and Matteo. New city. I'm thinking Portland or Denver, somewhere far from New York. New names, new documents, new lives. You'd have a house, paid in full. A trust fund for Matteo's education. Enough money that you'd never have to work 4 jobs again. Anna's throat tightened. And you'd be completely severed from this world. From me, from my organization, from everything that's happened. Protected by distance and anonymity. You could disappear. Be invisible again. Safe again, Lorenzo corrected. Isn't that what you wanted? Anna looked at the envelope, but didn't touch it. What's option 2? Lorenzo hesitated, and she realized he was nervous. Lorenzo Valentino, who'd orchestrated a war and won, was nervous. Option 2 is complicated, he said. And possibly insane. Tell me anyway. You stay. Not as a victim. Not as someone under my protection, he turned to face her. You stay as my shield advisor. A formal position. You'd have a voice in family decisions, particularly those affecting civilians. A seat at the table. Anna stared at him. You want me to join the Mafia? I want you to change it, Lorenzo's voice grew intense. You've seen things these past weeks that most people never see. The violence, yes, but also the power. The structure.
The reach.
What if that power could be used differently? You're talking about reform? In organized crime? I'm talking about evolution, he gestured to the sunrise. The old ways are dying, Anna. The blood feuds, the territorial wars, the casual violence, they're not sustainable. The world is changing. We either change with it or become extinct. And I'm supposed to lead this change? A single mother who cleaned toilets. You're someone who saved a life when everyone else hesitated. Who stood between a gun and her child without flinching. Who called out a room full of killers and made them listen. Lorenzo's eyes held hers. You're not weak, Anna. You never were. You were just never given power before. Anna's mind raced. What would this actually look like? You'd advise on civilian matters. When we consider territories, you'd evaluate community impact. When we make financial decisions, you'd assess legitimate opportunities. When conflicts arise, you'd find solutions that don't involve bloodshed, he paused. You'd be the conscience I've never had. That's a lot of responsibility for someone you barely know. I know you saved my life. I know you protected your son with nothing but a fire extinguisher and courage. I know you challenged me at every turn, never backed down, never let me forget what matters, Lorenzo's voice softened. I know you're the strongest person I've ever met. Anna looked back at the sunrise. Below, through the glass walls, she could see Matteo still asleep on the couch where he dozed off during a movie. Marcus sat nearby, vigilant even in rest. If I stay, Anna said slowly, Matteo stays too. And he never gets involved in the business. He gets a normal childhood. Agreed. I want guaranteed education. The best schools. College fully funded. Done. And my aunt, whatever medical care she needs. The best doctors. Everything. Already arranged. Anna turned to him. Why are you doing this? Really? Lorenzo was quiet for a long moment. Because that night, when I woke up and saw your face, scared, determined, trying to save a stranger, I realized something. I've spent 10 years building power, and I never asked what that power was for. You asked in 30 seconds. What did I ask? I have a son, Lorenzo quoted. You made me think about what matters. What should matter? He smiled slightly. Plus, you're the only person who's ever hit someone with a fire extinguisher to protect me. That's worth keeping around. Despite everything, Anna laughed. It felt strange, rusty, like a muscle she'd forgotten how to use. She looked at the envelope. Escape, safety, invisibility. Then she looked at her son, sleeping peacefully because dangerous men kept him safe. I want an office, she said, with a door that locks. Lorenzo's face broke into a genuine smile. You're staying? I'm staying. Anna picked up the envelope, tore it in half. But on my terms. I'm not your shield. I'm not your symbol. I'm your partner in this insane evolution you're talking about. Partner, Lorenzo repeated, testing the word. He offered his hand. Anna shook it. The maid who kissed the capo is about to reshape the empire. God help us all, Lorenzo said. But he was smiling. And for the first time in 3 weeks, so was Anna.
The end.